everyone, how are you? It's a Monday night. It was an okay Monday. Um, Finally had a appointment scheduled for my poor son. He's running after the school bus one day, and he's one with mild cerebral palsy, and so he's running after the school bus. He was a couple minutes late, and he tripped and broke his nose, had a concussion, and had to have 5 root canals that afternoon. He knocked his frickin' teeth out, and the nerves were hanging straight out like little worms. It was quite the ordeal. So that was 4 years ago, so it's taken until now for me to get him into going to the dentist for just a cleaning, right? I had everything all, the grease, the skids all greased and everything, talked to the hygienist last week and everything when I was in about how they've got to be gentle, got to be gentle. I go out, and the frickin' vehicle has a dead battery. So I was like, oh no, no. He was happy. He was very happy, but of course, it's what's going to happen on a Monday, right? Still, Boo Boo is not. Anita. On to focus. So, Boo, I gave you catnip. I did everything. What do you need, honey? Boo. Boo, what do you need? We're 852 strong, so for those of you who don't know, Boo Boo is my cat that's like half monkey, and he's just very commanding of me and can only do things when he says it's okay. And I thought that I had him down. Ma Kisses is asleep over there, and Scounderella's down watching a game with Dad, so I thought that all 3 cats would be okay for right now, but I don't know. And so here we are at, I hope it's the last of the Watts Discovery. It is going to be part 41, and it's going to start on Discovery page 2062, pages 1867. That's Boo Boo protesting because I'm not where he wants me to be. So, right, well, he's going to play the banjo on the bags that I give him to play with. And I thought it was time for him to quiet down, but nope. Okay, so this is going to have to wrap up a lot because as far as I'm seeing, they haven't done anything. They're big Tamburglers, investigative assignment apparently was whether or not to see if Christopher Watts had indeed taken CPR classes, because her big thing was, well, he lied about not being able to revive the girls, because if he had taken CPR classes, then he should have been able, because we're still going on where Christopher Watts said that he walked in on her unaliving the girls, okay? So she's spent many moons doing many interviews with all of the people who can attest to, yes, they went to Anadarko and taught CPR. And Christopher Watts was indeed in attendance. Bottom line is, learning CPR in a class setting and actually doing CPR, especially if you could imagine that it's on one of your children where you just saw this out of control situation going on, and you can't compare the two. You just can't. And then it looks like Baumhover is still searching down the personal ads, seeing who's saying they were bopping Christopher Watts, and I don't see how they got to his quasi confession to sentencing. So let's see if they wrap that up for me in 150 pages or less, and we'll be done with this. And then I have a lot of lives I want to do where we can go over some of the questions and things I wrote down while I was talking that I want to talk to you guys about. I do want to continue to narrate the documents that as they are released for the Moscow Four, just because that's very near the hometown where I grew up, and one of my sons attended Wazoo and WSU, so it's still very near and dear to my heart. And I know that it hurts across the country, but so many other creators are doing Idaho. I don't want to burn you guys out. I just want to make sure that you guys are on top of the official documents, because I was so proud of myself when Nancy Grace was on, and I already knew everything that she knew. So I was like, oh, I like that. I like it. Bombshell tonight. I like it. So anyway, we're at 852 strong, still trying to find out the facts and the truth here, getting closer and closer to making some things make sense, but can't make things make sense. So, we're on an officer report for incident 18DA0013135 for the Weld County Office of the District Attorney, a supplemental report. And it says that on 10/19/18, Dan Boyle, list of miscellaneous documents included with the supplemental report. It's got J-logs, media, names, involvements. Additional J-logs were received from Nicole Morrill from NJC regarding inmate Watts. The dates that were received were from 9/21/18 to 10/15/18. The entries are not daily and appear to be random observation reports. Watts continues to be respectful and polite to NJC staff and has not caused any issues. Copies of the J-logs were placed into MI documents. End of report. TB. So this is just his jail reports that just say that he's a model prisoner. Now this one is Spillman Log Report. Okay, what is this? Oh, okay. Weld County Sheriff Spillman Log Report, observation of behavior. Okay. For hour out. Friday, September 21st. Inmate was offered his hour out at 11:10 hours, which is 11:10 in the morning, and had access to the shower, phone, newspaper, and exercise room. Inmate has been respectful to me in all dealings and interactions with him. Okay. Monday, September 24th, 21:49, so that'd be at 9:49. Inmate was very respectful and polite while working with me this week. Other inmates in the unit are starting to accept him being here, and we're talking with him throughout the week. And accept, they spelled EXCEPT. He was polite and respectful while talking with them and never cursed while other inmates were. See, that's the thing, is that he's polite, respectful, doesn't even cuss. We're supposed to believe he just, I don't know. 9:26, inmate was quiet and respectful all day, no issues. 9:30, inmate Watts has been respectful in all interactions today. He took his time out this morning and also swapped out books. I certify this to be a true and accurate copy as held by the Weld County Sheriff's Office. HIPAA compliance, some information has been redacted in this report. Then another data pull of observation of behavior. October 10th. Inmate Watts was respectful in all interactions this evening. He followed all directives without issue as well. There was little interaction with him except for when he asked to have his toilet flushed or to know the time at one point. Overall, there were no issues. He was usually quiet in his cell, either reading or just laying down. So they don't even let them flush the toilet here? Huh. 10:13. Inmate was well behaved today. He was polite and presented me with no problems. He watched the TV the majority of his GP time. I gave expectations when I did shift change, and he followed all of the rules set before him. He was not very talkative. He was seen pacing back and forth on several occasions. October 14th. Inmate Watts was given expectations during shift change. He presented me with no problems during this time. He was slightly more talkative today. He was seen watching both football games that were on the TV today. Also, he was seen eating some of his commissary food. He was spotted working out in his room on multiple occasions. Finally, inmate Watts ate his dinner and locked down quite quickly when all lockdowns were announced during my shift. Monday, October 15th. Inmate Watts was given expectations during shift change. He has continued to follow my expectations without any issues. He was seen eating commissary and doing push-ups on multiple occasions. He was also given a tray for dinner and ate from it. Inmate Watts was fairly social with me while doing shift change. No issues while I was the housing unit deputy. I certify this to be true and accurate. Copy is held by the Weld County Sheriff's Office. Now the Greeley Police Department, officer report for incident, blah, 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 blah. We've got responding officers Prill and let's see, what do we got here? It says something about a gang. It says detailed gang. Date assigned 10/16/18. Miscellaneous, no coding. Persons GP persons assignment. Responding Prill. Okay. And it says it's a miscellaneous call. Do not release. Do not release. The CAD call initiating call. This is origin mugshots. Or original mugshots, I don't know. I don't know why it would be considered something with gangs. Okay, let's see here. Because they have something with Detective Michael D. Prill from the gang unit. And it says connecting case numbers none. And it says miscellaneous documents included with the supplemental R. Summary report is Watts. Inmate data Watts. It says 4 booking photographs. Not a school-related incident. Involvement list has nothing with names, vehicles, property, or narrative. Okay, here we go. Let's see what this is. Oh, Lord. Wait till you hear this one. On August 22nd, 2018, the Frederick Police Department and the Weld County District Attorney's Office formally requested my assistance with the homicide investigation of Christopher Watts. Their request was granted. On August 24th, 2018, I met with Detective David Baumhover, District Attorney Michael Rourke, and Assistant District Attorney Rob Miller. It was decided my endeavor would begin with the organization of the investigation while simultaneously identifying any and all necessary follow-up investigation. On August 29, 2018, I attended a briefing at the Frederick Police Department. Agencies represented included the District Attorney's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations. The purpose of the briefing was to establish a chain of command and the assignment of various tasks. On September 6, 2018, I assisted Baumhover with the construction of warrants to search assorted cellular phones seized during the investigation. These were secured through Judge Quammen that afternoon. Also that day, Baumhover interviewed a woman claiming to have had an affair with Chris Watts. There you go, bombshell tonight. With a change in our recording equipment at the Greeley Police Department, It took several weeks to eventually download and preserve that recorded interview. Beginning on September 18th, 2018, I began my review and organization of the case file. On October 2nd, 2018, I met with Agent Darren Ford at the North Colorado Forensic Laboratory. I signed an evidence return receipt for the 4 cellular phones he forensically examined: Chris Watts' work and personal cell, Shanann Watts' cellular phone, and Nicole Kessinger's cellular phone. In addition, I collected a copy of the data Ford extracted from these phones during his forensic examination. Ford provided me with 4 additional external drives with the same data downloaded to each. Upon return to the Greeley Police Department, I secured a copy in my office. I opened the K-Pack sealed by Ford and removed 3 drives. 1 for the prosecution, 1 for the defense, and 1 to be used as a working copy by Baumhover. I sealed the remaining drive in a separate K-Pack along with the original packaging and initialed the seal to document chain of custody. Okay, come on. Where's the thing about the affair? What does this have to do with anything? Did you guys miss the plot? Let me look at this again. Also that day, Baumhover interviewed a woman claiming to have had an affair. Are they just talking about NK? I guess that's where we're at with the investigation, tying things up. My God. Upon return to the Greeley Police Department, I secured a copy in my office. I opened the K-Pack sealed by Ford and removed 3 drives, 1 for the prosecution, 1 for the defense, and 1 to be used as a working copy by Baumhover. I sealed the remaining drive in a separate K-Pack along with the original packaging and initialed the seal to document chain of custody. Okay. Later that morning, I delivered the 2 drives to investigator Kathy Holscher at the district attorney's office. Later that afternoon, I attended a briefing at the Frederick Police Department. I hand-delivered to Baumhover the now organized case file, his working copy of the extracted phone data, and the original drive intended for evidence. The phones I received from Ford and the recorded interview Baumhover conducted on September 6, 2018. On October 5, 2018, I presented Watts' name summary report and inmate data from the Spillman database. In accordance with the court's order, I did not preserve nor review, if available, any information contained within Watts' visitor logs. I also preserved 4 booking photographs of Watts contained in Spillman. Okay, that's your gang stuff? Think that he's a gang member? On October 11, 2018, I attended a meeting involving Baumhover and members of the prosecution. Collectively, we identified a myriad of topics requiring attention during future follow-up investigation in this matter. For my part, the next step in my investigation will be a review of the data extracted from the phones. Investigation continues. Please forward to the district attorney's office. End of report. Okay. Evidence return receipt. Okay, and then this is just kind of a blurry thing saying once again. So what? This is their whole case. They've got the phones. They've got that he took CPR classes, and they've talked to some people who said that they had some hookups with Christopher Watts, which have no proof. And that's why they have a man behind bars for 4 life sentences. All right, here's one of those pictures. Okay, here we go. It's a picture of Christopher Watts. Yes, it is. He looks just dejected. It just looks like the life and light has been taken out of his eyes. And all right, so now the tattoos. Godsmack symbol tribal on his left arm. On his right arm is Commander Diamond. And on his back is the Metallica Ninja Star. All right. And then jail. There's just things about him. Then it says, so it's just basically his profile for where he assigned housing 506, current location 506, booking date 8/16. So they booked him on 8/16. So that was the so everything went down on the 13th. He confessed the evening and into the midnight hours when he was first booked. So he was booked on 8/16/18 at 3 minutes after midnight. Doesn't need handicap access, things like that. That's all. Blah, blah, blah. And now it says, and it's very blurry, and it says 8/23/18, inmate Watts will take his hour out in S-Pod. The only modification to this will be if every inmate in Unit 07 is behind a locked door. Ellie. I can't tell. Per Sergeant Cole. Inmate Watts was approved per Sergeant Mueller to have a book from Inmate Services. This was given to him by Deputy Petzold August 30th. Inmate Watts is not on discipline and therefore allowed a book. So we saw that again. And we can prove over and again that he is not on discipline. Therefore, he should have been able to have gotten his mail, which we're still trying to figure out. And then it just says the on-view arrest on 8/15/2302. So that's what we're talking. So he had no other arrests prior to that. District Felony State Agency. No assessment. No offenses. Okay. How did we go? So here we are, and we have the offenses. How did we go from murder in the first degree? So they have murder in the first degree 3 times. And then they have tampering with physical evidence 3 times. So how did, from what he confessed, go to full charges of murder in the first degree? 3 times. I thought that he would need a trial. I mean, I see that these are the charges, but they stuck and they didn't do anything to I guess because he waived his right to a trial. I've just never seen anything so bizarre. They didn't question when he said, they didn't say no, that couldn't have happened that way, and he didn't say, okay, I did everything. No, he didn't say it. I mean, just like Kohberger right now, he's charged with, the unaliving of all 4. Of course he is. But they didn't just put him in prison and say, like, okay. Anyway, they have him as no bond. And they put him as high medium custody. And he's in maximum custody prison. Now, it says he's in protective custody as of 8/18. Okay, so protective custody. So that must be why he doesn't have a roommate, I think. Okay. And it says no disciplinary actions, and it says keep separate. What it says here is it says banning gay enemy, banning spaces. She personally know the victims of Watts' case. Tippett, Derek, enemy. Inmate Tippett was harassing inmate Watts in S-Pod. Oh, okay. So they've got to keep it separate from. So Derek Tippett, Tippit, and I can't say if it's like banning bay, but it looks like it's saying banning gay. I don't know. It's like EMMY, and it says in parentheses enemy. It says banning spaces. She personally knew the victims of Watts's case. Are they saying that these are two different people? This person's name is Gay Banning. Second person is Derek Tippett. It says inmate Tippett was harassing inmate Watts in S-Pod. Banning states she personally knew the victim. It's very blurry, that's why I can't see. So, let's say Gay Banning. So Gay Banning knew victims. I wonder if she's selling Thrive. I don't know. Allegedly, maybe. And Derek Tippett was harassing in S-Pod. And maybe that's what they got the footage of that day. I don't know. So it just has us keep separate. Has those two, keeping them separate. They saw there was a problem. Then it has housing, and it shows where he's been moved. And it shows in his cash account, he has current inmate balance. He has zero. He has no money. So how did he get a couple of things from commissary, I wonder? Or is that just showing that that's a balance? Because it says show open accounts only, and it says no, then no entries, and it says current inmate balance 0. Then it says inmate mail, no entries. Ooh. No entries. Is that because they don't, because he hasn't written anything else out? Or is that, I don't know, because they held him? Inmate requests, it says no entries, last modified 10/4. In the Greeley Police Department, it just says connecting case numbers. It says 50-page phone data review, installed application list. Okay. During my review of the data extracted from the phones belonging to Chris Watts, Shanann Watts, and Nicole Kessinger, certain information was learned. Agent Darren Ford conducted logical extractions of data from these phones. In conversations with Ford, he advised the Northern Colorado Forensic Library does not possess technology to perform physical data extractions from Apple devices. Oh, well, they're just totally Android only. Okay. It says, thus I discovered the extracted data is not inclusive of all data stored amongst the assorted application within a given device, nor does activity involving those applications necessarily reflect in the data extracted. For example, Watts had a secret calculator application uploaded to his personal phone. Item 41. This application, by all appearances, is an operatable calculator. When the user enters a secret passcode, the application reveals its true purpose, which is a concealed storage device for photographs, videos, contacts, even a private browser. Ooh. See, that's how the what are they called? The oh, I can't think of them right now. The 19 and counting, all that. You guys are probably yelling out the names for me, but I got obvious COVID brain. But because he was, after he got busted with the child, the Duggars, after he got busted with the child porn, allegedly, he was supposed to be on his best behavior and doing everything right. He had this calculator app because he was on this accountability thing with his wife, so his wife would check the phone, every night and whatnot. He had this total calculator app, and his whole computer, it had like this whole second, like, thing behind it and everything. Oh, so Christopher Watts had the secret. He wasn't that smart. Kissinger must have put this on. Allegedly. Okay, so let's see. In mid-July 2018, Watts began transferring images from his camera application into the secret calculator application. This activity is not reflected within the phone's timeline. Oh. 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 Oh, girl. Locating those transferred images proved challenging and was predicated on mere curiosity. I searched through the images stored within the data files featured in the Cellebrite report for item 41. Locating an image not highlighted in the timeline, I reviewed the path within the file information and noticed it included the words secret calculator. Using the Find feature, I searched the 12,000 images stored in the phone's memory using the keyword secret calculator. I located a vast collection of images otherwise undetected during my review that are stored within this application. Oh, busted. Oh, oh. He was hoping that wasn't all. It was Secret Chris. Oh. In the near future, a follow-up warrant will be sought to manually search through this phone and access the secret calculator. That search will include any additional photographs or videos, any browser activity, and information related to the installation date. Amongst the other installed applications found on this phone, I suggest that same warrant seek permission to manually inspect the alarm clock, Apple Watch, and Vivint applications. From the UFED reader, I exported a list of all installed applications found within item 41 device. A copy of that list accompanies this report. A further review of that list may identify additional applications to search. And review. The accompanying 50-page document is in chronological order, spanning May to August. Following each entry is an ancillary information directing the reader to the location the specific entry was located within the Cellebrite report files. That information is highlighted within box brackets and identifies the device item number, which file and the entry number within that file. For example, bracket 41 swooshy TL hyphen 7672 hyphen 7673 images hyphen 7524 period HEIC tech 7525 period HEIC bracket. Using this example, the reader would open the item 41 CB report on the Apple device Advanced Logical Report, open the timeline TL content, and locate timeline numbers 7672 and 7673. For the images, the reader can either open the images within the timeline or return to the Apple device Advanced Logical Report. Open the images data files within the file content and then locate images 7524 HEIC and 7525 HEIC. Okay, they've lost me on this. Why don't they just show what they found? The image data files may, at times, provide additional information related to the image than what is found in the timeline entry. This can include metadata identifying the location of the photo, metadata identifying the location the photo was taken, the device that took the photograph, as well as dates of image modification. Wow. Oh, okay. Here you go. Now you tell me what this freaking stands for. HEIC files, in brackets, high efficiency image file format. So high efficiency image. Well, that doesn't even make sense. So HEI would be a high efficiency image I can see, but then it doesn't show what the C stands for. Oh, I don't know. Is an enhanced version of MPEG files. So things used to be MPEG instead of JPEG, whatever. HEIC files are used in newer Apple operating systems, iOS. And that's why I don't do Apple. And yeah, I'm old fashioned and I do the Galaxy, but I also like Works as opposed to Word on my computer. Many computers, mine included, may require a minor program modification before accessing and viewing those images. Well, Other punctuation. Any observations or conclusions made during my review are denoted in italics as standalone paragraphs or highlighted within curly brackets. Items highlighted within parentheses normally denote known information. Investigation continues. Please forward to the District Attorney's Office. End of report. Okay, well, let's see if you're going to put in here what's in here. Come on. Okay. So now it's Watt's work phone, blah, blah, blah. So Watt's work phone had 6,751 timeline entries, 597 images, 170 contacts, 29 videos, 191 audio recordings, 125 SMS messages, 11 MMS messages, and 326 entries in the call log. Okay, not too bad. Watt's personal says he has 8,700 timeline entries, 12,382 images, 1,273 contacts, 475 videos, 141 audio recordings, 304 SMS messages, 35 MMS messages, and 567 entries in the call log. Okay? There is no record of any contacts between Watts and Trent Bolt in either of his devices. Bam! The number of SMS messages retained in this phone are meager at best. Watts clearly took steps to delete a vast number of records documenting his communication with others. For example, in July 2018, there are only 3 messages remaining in the device, and they occurred on the 29th. In contrast, there are 67 messages from January 2018. Huh, all right. So one could argue that, well, if he's deleting everything, then he obviously deleted everything about Trent Bolt. You just got done saying that there isn't any, and then you said that you can find that he deleted them. So, what do we have here? You know? So now, here we go. Here we go. This is going to be record numbers. Because we've got Shanann's personal phone. Okay? Ready? 153,672 timeline entries. Oh, I'm gonna write this down. Holy moly. 153,672 timeline messages. Chris had 8,700. 153,672. What? 99,011 images. 2,944 contacts. 2,114 videos. 756 audio recordings. 29,796 SMS messages. 1,581 MMS messages. 477 entries in the call log. Whoa. How could your phone even turn itself on? It must have been like shaking. It probably walked its ass over to the couch and took a nap for itself and turned itself off. Because, how? Chris has 475 videos. She has 2,114. I can't even. She had 99,011 images. He had 12,382 images. What in the ever loving? Just can't even imagine that, because I'm not the best at my email, and so I have like 4 different email accounts. I'll just go to a new one when I don't answer all the other. I don't know. But anyway, it's like Google's all over me and makes me pay, $1.99 for extra storage, or, it says my, email is gonna, I don't know. I can't do anything, and it won't open my phone, and then my phone gets all, wiggly and won't start up and stuff. And I mean, I don't have anything like this. I go through and clear my stuff off. I can't imagine how much they were paying for extra storage, and I I don't know if they could have had unlimited data or if their cell phone bills were astronomical too. Wow. Okay. Now, it says here the vast number of messages exchanged between Watts and Shanann while she was in North Carolina are featured in Shanann's device, but rarely, if ever, found anywhere in Watts's device. So he was just deleting things as he goes so that one doesn't see the other. And then we've got Kessinger's personal phone, and it says that she's got 34,527 timeline entries. And once again, let's compare that to Shanann. Shanann had 153,672 timeline messages. Christopher Watts had 8,700 timeline entries. Nicole has 34,527. So she's got, 4 times more than Chris, but about 75% less than Shanann. She's got 8,428 images. And she's a geologist. She should be taking pictures of cool things all the time. She's only got 8,428 images. Shanann has 99,011. She has 166 contacts, whereas Shanann has 2,944. We can say who's going to win this popularity contest, right? Got, Shanann's going to be popular. You want to be popular? I'll tell you how to be popular. And then she has 820 images. Why does it have it twice? You have 840, and then you have 166 contacts, and you have 820 images. 12 audio recordings. I wonder if they meant 800. I don't know. 8,152 SMS messages, 400 MMS messages, and 206 entries in the call log. This device is devoid of any calls, messages, photographs, or videos involving Watts. There is no listing for Watts, nor even his number in the device contact list. Ooh, she must have taken her phone over to her dad's and had him scrub that. I don't know. Did I tell you guys this? That my son went over to his little friend's house once when we were living in Vegas. I think it was during kindergarten, and he came home. They had him over for dinner, and then he came home and he was talking the next day, and he said, yeah, the mom was really mad because the dad had went camping all weekend, and he came home and his laptop was really dirty. She threw the bathtub because it was just filthy. It had something filthy on it. So when I'm thinking about this image of, Nicole going up to Daddy and being like, my phone's dirty, help me. He's like, hold on, Nikki, I got this. You go over there, stand over there, I got this. Wait in the car, sweetheart. We're gonna make this all right. Allegedly. Anyway. Ooh, September 1, 2017. And this is where one of the biggest mysteries to this case exists. because here we go. And I have noted this before, but hold on. I've got to write this down because we're going to go 1886. And we are going to say, this shows us that on September 1, 2017, Kessinger searched the internet for the name Shanann Watts. September 1, 2017. Okay? Now, if you go back to where I did a video, and I think I called it, the strangest rumor yet, or the one that makes the most sense. And I was talking about when Sherilyn Cradlecrap, the one that wrote that horrible book, it was so stupid. She wanted to write a book based on what she wanted to say and didn't really care about the story, apparently, or anything. And this was when no one was really even looking at Christopher Watts as to, what had really happened. It wasn't like it is now. It was still just kind of like where everybody's just kind of letting things settle. But you got Sherilyn Cradlecrap, the grandmother, coming out and saying that she's going to talk to Christopher and get it out of him and whatnot. So she goes and talks at him, and he's trying to talk to her, and he says, no, I actually introduced Nicole to my wife and my girls at a 4th of July celebration the year prior. You go, what did he say? What did she say that he said? And that's before she worked for Anadarko. She got a contract for Anadarko. So if you go for this little, how did they meet? How did they know each other? This fireworks show would have been in July 4th, 2017. So she could have been looking, they could have been talking. Christopher and Nicole could have been talking for a long time. And then she gets this contract at Anadarko. Nothing saying they were physical until when they admit to being physical. But was there an interest? How do you explain Kessinger searching the internet for the name Shanann Watts on September 1, 2017? It fits with where he said he introduced her to the kids and her. It said it, but then I don't know. There are things that don't make sense. There is a story yet untold. That isn't bashing Shanann, and that isn't saying that Christopher is innocent. It's saying that there was a railroaded confession here, and every single person in the United States should be terrified of what happened in this case, because it could happen to you or somebody that you love. If they're this casual and this sloppy with how they can lock you up, you should be scared. You should be very, very scared. Now what it says here is, it says May 29, 2018, 15:40 hours. Shanann began filming in the kitchen of 2825 Saratoga Trail. She stepped in front of the camera briefly to show off her shirt with the embossed words, "Oops, we did it again." Okay? So that was May 29, 2018. Let's see here. I'm going to go. That was filmed May 29. We all remember that video and the look on his face. She did it so that she wouldn't be alone with him, because he would have been alone, been like, what the, we didn't, how could you, huh? So it says, May 29th, 2018, at 1540 hours, Shanann began filming in the kitchen of 2825 Saratoga Trail. She stepped in front of the camera briefly to show off her shirt with the embossed words, "Oops, we did it again." When she stepped out of the camera's view, Dieter, the family dog, ran off to welcome Watts entering the home. As Watts walked into the kitchen, he halted mid-stride and stared in Shanann's direction. His confused expression transformed into a grin, and he walked to her saying, "We did it again?" When Watts returned in view of the camera, he is holding a pregnancy test, and they discuss the positive result. Watts leaned in, kissed Shanann, and with a large grin says, "I guess when you want it to, it happens. Wow." And then it says 76 days later, Shanann, her unborn child, Bella, and Celeste were murdered. Okay. So, how is this comment in there? I guess, whether or not she did or he did, I guess that's true, but it's just an odd comment in there. Okay. 76 days later. So, if you go, hold on. $76. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, right here. This is where I've said this in how she was lying about her due date, because this doesn't add up. If you go to May 29th, when you find out that you're pregnant, you're considered 4 weeks. So if I put 28 days plus 76 days, divide that by 30, and I get 3.4, so 3.5. She was 4 months pregnant. She wasn't 5 months pregnant, which goes with the exact measurements of the fetus in the fetal skeleton. But she was saying she was a month further because she was trying to track it to when the last time her and Christopher Watts had sex, not the other Christopher that lived in North Carolina that she went out to fly out to. Anyway, Plan B is not just a pill that you take. Plan B is when you leave your husband, take the girls, 6 weeks, supposed to be 1 week. Was she ever going to come back if he would have accepted her? Check it out. Check out my video on why she was lying about her due date. This makes sense. She would have been almost, she could be pushing it to be 4 months based on those dates. So anyway, let's see here, because then we go to, it says May 29th. Cassie and Josh Rosenberg, friends, told Watts they have completed and are submitting employment applications in Colorado. Josh added congratulations to Watts, Shanann's pregnancy. June 14th, Watts created nearly 200 contacts in his work phone. These included co-workers Shanann and Nikki Kessinger, mistress. Kessinger's phone numbers included 970-336-3533 work and 720-656-9605 mobile. So he put her phone number in on June 14th when he added 200 contacts into his phone. So if you're arguing that he knew about the pregnancy on May 29 and then gets involved with her first on June 14, I don't know. June 17, 2018, Watts told Tony Brown, a coworker, "Thanks again for covering this weekend. Last weekend with the kids meant a lot. I owe you one." June 19, 2018, 10:10 hours. Watts told Tony Brown, "I have to check out by 2 today for a doctor appointment. If anything comes up later in the day, I'll let you know." June 22, Shanann and Watts traveled to San Diego to attend a Thrive convention. And I believe that's when the dad came home, right? Or the dad came out to visit. So the dad, Frankie Rue, the grandpa. I think that he's a nice grandpa, but anyway, I think Papa Ronnie is a nice grandpa. The girls had great grandpas and grandmothers. I mean, I think that the grandparents were good for the kids. But, so June 22, they went to San Diego. Okay. And then 15:07 hours, Watts created an entry in the contact list of his personal phone titled APC Health Safety Environmental. The phone number entered is 720-656-9605, which is Kessinger. So APC Health Safety Environmental is what he put in there as hers. At 17:35 hours in San Diego with the Rosenbergs, Shanann and Watts stayed at the Seaport Tower, Manchester Grand Hyatt, and that evening ate at a restaurant named Season 52. Subsequent photographs taken over the next 2 days by this phone denote assorted coordinates around the San Diego Convention Center. June 26, 2018, Watts told Troy McCoy, coworker, "I landed last night around 2 a.m. I'm around all day if you need to ask me something." McCoy replied, "Okay, cool, buddy. Get some rest." Watts responded, "LOL, you're crazy. Kids are out of control." June 27, 2018, Shanann and her daughters flew to North Carolina, where they stayed with family for 42 days. So they left June 27 to okay. June 26, 2018, Shanann's phone received a calendar alert with her flight information. Flight WN 137 from DEN to RDU. June 30, 2018. Watts searched the internet for information on tickets to Bandimere Speedway. July 4th, 2018, 08:56 hours, so almost 9 in the morning. Watts called Shanann and held a 19-minute conversation. 22:44 hours, Watts watched the Independence Day fireworks with Nick and Amanda Thayer, friends in Thornton. He apparently stopped by their home afterwards, his phone connected to their router. July 5th, 2018, at 14:24 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 2.5-minute conversation. 18:37 hours, 6:37, Watts called Shanann and held a 13-minute conversation. She called him back moments later and held a nearly 7-minute conversation. Can't imagine. I could talk to my husband more on the phone every single day when he's still in the house more than these two were. July 6, 2018. Josh Rosenberg asked Watts how bachelor life was going. Watts replied he was exercising a lot, working extra weekend shifts, and the time was going by really fast. 09:57 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 3-minute conversation. She called back shortly afterwards and held a nearly 4-minute conversation. 15:51 hours, Watts called Shanann and held an 11-minute conversation. 16:51 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 3-minute conversation. 18:35 hours, Watts called Shanann and held a nearly 8-minute conversation. 18:52 hours, 6:52, after Shanann told Watts to call Vivint before I flip, Watts advised they are sending a sensor for the garage door. I tried moving it like they said and it didn't work. So this is when the garage door must have... She must have been getting all of these notifications that the garage door is opening or whatever, and she's like, call them before I flip. So it says, after Shanann told Watts to call Vivint before I flipped, Watts advised they are sending a sensor for the garage door. I tried moving it like they said, and it didn't work. Okay. So now July 7th at 9 minutes after midnight, Kessinger called Watts and held a nearly 2-minute conversation, the first call between the two found in his phone. 0500 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 5-minute conversation. Now see, this is where I would be scared, because if I was having an affair and somebody called me 9 minutes after midnight when my husband's out of town, he's going to see that on the phone log and it's not going to go over very well, right? So, 0549 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 3-minute conversation. 1919, Watts' phone connected with a router at Rusty Bucket Restaurant. 1801 hours, Watts' phone logged coordinates at the Orchard Town Center, 125 and 144th Avenue, Westminster. I confirmed a Rusty Bucket is at this location on 14613 Orchard Parkway. 1844 hours, Watts' phone connected to a router at the Crushed Red Restaurant. I confirmed one is located at 1643 Orchard Parkway. On July 8th, 0515 hours, Watts offered an excuse for not calling Shanann the night before. I'm sorry, Boo. I fell asleep as soon as I got home. That heat killed me yesterday. I love you so much. Well, I think that he was cranking his rusty bucket, if you know what I mean. At 0515 hours, Watts called Shanann and held a 6-minute conversation. 1644, Shanann called Watts and held a 22-minute conversation. July 9th, 0518 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 10-minute conversation. 1611, Shanann called Watts and had a 14-minute conversation. 1724, Watts made an unanswered call to Shanann. She called back immediately and held nearly a 9-minute conversation. 2016 hours. Shanann discussed how Watts' mother gave Celeste ice cream. Okay, so now we've got Nutgate. Which date does this push this? Is that in the same day? July 9th. Wow. Huh. Let me see here. I can't believe just these few minute conversations. My husband and I would talk for, at least a couple of hours at the end of the day if I was out of town with the kids. I just can't even imagine not talking, but it shows how little their relationship really was. Functioning towards the end. Okay. So here we go. Here's the big one. So 2016 hours. So that's 8:16 at night. Shanann discussed how Watts' mother gave Celeste ice cream with nuts in the ingredients. Shanann felt this was done in defiance of Shanann's warnings of Celeste's food allergies. Shanann told Watts, "You should call your dad and tell him you did not appreciate your mom putting your daughter at risk today, nor do you like that she teased our girls. You should also say that you don't appreciate her saying they have to learn they can't always get what they want," referring to ice cream. "They are 2 and 4. Watts would reply, "I will call him and tell him what I think about this. It's not fucking cool at all because it is the kids. I will set this right." Okay, this is disturbing to me that that's all that it was just this. Or, for as big of a deal it was that they're not, calling and trying to work it out, their relationship was nothing. There's no substance to their relationship. If they're down to talking less than 10 minutes a day, and they've got the 2 kids and they're out of town, far apart from each other, I can't imagine this. I in the same home you talk more. They were 2 ships in the night. They were not functioning well, allegedly. And now it says Watts' mother gave Celeste ice cream with nuts in the ingredients. I thought that it had been confirmed that it was pistachio ice cream, and someone in our comments said that no, it was not pistachio, it was vanilla or something. So I thought that it was confirmed that it was pistachio. Was it not? Like, what kind of ice cream was it that had nuts in it? Because I want to know. I want to know if it was ever confirmed. Because in her pantry we did see that big bottle of peanut butter. So there was the debacle over peanuts and tree nuts and squirrel nuts. I don't know. Anyway. 17:22 hours. Shanann the next day. So it's the next day. So she goes through this thing, goes and, cries to her mom and all this, everybody else in town. And she only has this discussion with her husband about it. That is weird. July 10th, 17:22 hours. Shanann called Watts and had an 8-minute conversation. And at 19:32 hours, Shanann asked Watts, "You okay? It's like you don't want to talk. I keep trying to talk, and I had to dig it out of you." Watts replied, "I'm fine, baby. The last few days at work have put a lot of responsibility on me with new people. I didn't mean to be short, boo. I love you to the moon and back." Shanann responded, I miss you and feel like you just want to work out and run. Watts claimed running helps clear my head. It's a way to free it all. Shanann didn't buy the excuse. I wish my husband wanted to talk to me. And it's like I say, these little things are weird, these little inferences, because are we looking at a text, or are we inferring what they were talking about? 05 on July 11th, 0520, Shanann called Watts and held a 7-minute conversation. 1620 hours, Shanann called Watts, held a 13-minute conversation. July 12th, 2018, 0446, Shanann made 2 unanswered calls to Watts. Ooh. He better have hoped that he was in the shower when she called me, because if he's not answering that time. 0516 hours, Watts called Shanann and held a 10-minute conversation. July 13, 2018, Watts called Shanann and held a 1-minute conversation. 0532, Watts called Shanann and held a 4-minute conversation. 0724, Watts logged into Facebook. 1621, Watts called Shanann and had an 8-minute conversation. He then called her back moments later and held a 12-minute conversation. July 14, 2018, Kessinger and Watts visited a Mustang museum in Boulder together. 0958, Kessinger called Watts and held a nearly 5-minute conversation. 1019 hours, Watts logged on into Facebook. 10:56 hours to 11:38 hours, Watts took photographs of assorted vehicles. Metadata proved he was at the Shelby American Collection, 5020 Chaparral Court in Boulder. 12:46 to 13:08 hours, Shanann made 4 unanswered calls to Watts. 13:17, Watts answered her 5th call and held a 1.5-minute conversation. Watts searched the internet for 24 Carat Bistro and the restaurant's menu. I confirm this restaurant is located at 578 Big Street in Erie, or 10 miles south of the Shelby Museum. 14:36 hours to 15:27 hours, Shanann continued to make unanswered calls to Watts. 15:37, Kessinger called Watts and held a nearly 5-minute conversation. 16:02, Kessinger called Watts and had a 43-minute conversation. He hasn't had that much talk on the phone in the whole month with his wife. 16:26 hours to 17:23 during that call, and just afterwards, Shanann made 4 more unanswered calls to Watts. Oh man, she must have been blowing on July 14th. She must have been ready to just implode. Then at 17:23, Watts called Shanann and held a 10-minute call. 18:14 hours, Watts spent nearly 2 hours online researching Dave Bunk Minerals, a mineral dealer located in Arvada, and dioptasi, a translucent emerald-colored mineral. Spent nearly 2 hours online researching. So NK must have been talking about some rocks, and he wanted to make sure that he could keep up with the discussion the next day. July 15th, Watts called Shanann and held an 8-minute conversation. 11:37, Shanann called Watts and held a nearly 5-minute conversation. 12:36, Watts called Vivint and held a 20-minute conversation. He entered Vivint into his contacts following the call. 12:50, Watts took 3 images of the basement from different perspectives to capture the layout. What? Why would he do that? Huh. To capture the layout. How do they know that's what he was doing? I mean, they go and be like, why'd you take these 3 pictures of your basement? He's like, to capture the layout. Huh. 1619 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 6-minute conversation. 1635 hours, Watts took 3 more images of his basement from different perspectives. I believe he was documenting the work he spent cleaning and organizing the basement as evidenced in the photos. Okay. So what was he showing Shanann? Hey, look, I cleaned up the basement. Because they could have shown that, he uploaded them or whatnot. 0533 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a nearly 5-minute conversation. 0835, Watts took 3 photographs from an Anadarko corporate office in Platteville, one of which was of a sunflower near what appears to be his work truck. This would not be the last time he took photographs of flowers. I suspect he took these for and shared them with Kessinger. She has an affinity with flora and had a wide assortment of flower pictures in her phone. $12.26 hours to 12:28 hours. Watts resumed his internet search of Dave Bunk minerals. I'm gonna look that up. I want to see if they have any cool minerals. Y'all gonna look that up? Dave Bunk minerals. I'm gonna look up that one too. Hold on, because I want to see which one that said turns into emerald. Oh yeah, I get it. What do you call it? DIOP. Chase. Translucent. Emerald. Dioptase, but the way they're putting it is that they're putting it DIOPTA. Dioptase. I don't know. $13.29 hours to 13:33 hours. Watts search Google on topics like touch-up paint bottles Toyota, Toyota dealership Highway 85, and Toyota dealership Brighton. Kessinger owned a Toyota. Yeah, and he brought those over to her. We know that. And then 15:46 hours to 16:24 hours, Shanann and Watts exchanged several calls, holding nearly 33 minutes in conversations. July 17, 2018, Shanann called Watts and held a 5.5-minute conversation. 10:12 hours and 11:40 to 11:46, Watts took several images of trees and grassland flowers in an open prairie just north of Rogan. 1637, Watts took a photograph of his new workboats, identical to those found in the Lexus during that search. 0526 on July 18, 2018, Watts answered a call from Shanann and held a 4-minute conversation. 0534, Watts called Shanann and held a nearly 4-minute conversation. 0946 hours, for the first time, Watts transferred assorted images of Kessinger, some semi-nude, into the secret calculator application. Certain images were taken by Watts as evidenced by his reflection in the mirror in the background. And here we are with that hot photograph of NK that we've all seen. She's got her hair up. She's in a perfect pose. Some of what I believe that she's doing is from her knowing how to pose from working out. She is pushing all of her weight on one leg and then hiking up the other. So she's got the perfect little apple bottom, and it's just a bikini one, and she's looking over her shoulder. It's a very, very good pose. She's a girl that doesn't have much expression in her face. But she has a beautiful body, but she works for it. Literally, she works out for it. Shanann's face was arguably prettier with more expression, but I don't know. I don't think that you can compare the two. Additional images of interest found in this application with no associated dates are listed below. Many are duplicative of others soon to be discussed in this review. These photographs include images of Kessinger in various states of undress, their trip to the Great Sand Dunes, and other assorted pictures. Ooh, and it's got all these images from 51.58 to 52.95, so I don't know what you would be doing taking these images, because you would think that your wife would be able to get a hold of them. Anyway, at 19:26 hours, watch search Google for Shore Haven, North Myrtle Beach. And it says my search found a long list of companies offering vacation rentals in this area. July 19th, 2018, Watts called Shanann and held a nearly 10-minute conversation. 10:41 hours, Watts called an unidentified contact, no name, no number, and held a 7-minute conversation. 20:35, Watts logged into Facebook. 01:59 hours, Watts logged into Snapchat, and it's like TOYAPA group at Peekaboo, Toyapa group, something. I don't know what he's doing in the Snapchat. And then Watts searched Google for the best beer in Colorado. 17:04 hours, which is 5:04. 17:09 hours. Watts asked Christina, redacted, Meacham, Shanann's friend, do you want me to talk solely about the experience with Burn, or say I've been on Thrive for over 2 years, lost 65 pounds, and then go into the Burn experience? Just a second. Sorry, I got a message from my son I have to answer. Let's see. Oh, please. Sorry about that. Okay. So we can infer that Christina Meacham must have called and said, hey, I need you to do a testimony for this or whatever, right? Because at 5:09 hours, where it says, Watts asked Christina Meacham, Shanann's friend, do you want me to talk solely about the experience with Burn, or say I've been on Thrive for over 2 years, lost 65 pounds, and then go into the Burn experience? Christina would reply, the experience with Burn, the difference that it made, and what you have felt. Call starts at 8:30 p.m. Oh, they're having one of those cult calls, and so he needs to get on there and say this. And then 17:23 hours to 19:57 hours. Watts searched Google for a CVS pharmacy in Westminster, DC Oaks Brew House and Eatery. The Bandimere ticket office for the NHRA National scheduled for July 21st, 2018, and 24-hour fitness locations in Westminster and Thornton. He needed a pharmacy. Watts transferred assorted images of Kessinger, some semi-nude, into his secret calculator application at 1812 hours. They included the image below. I think we've seen this, but if not, I will put it up. Let me take a picture of it real quick. Yeah, I think we've seen it. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. July 21st, 2018, Watts and Kessinger went to Bandamere on the Rooftop Tavern in Morrison. Okay. 0743 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 20-minute conversation. 1034 hours, Watts transferred images of Kessinger into his secret calculator application. 1358 hours, not found in Watts' phone. He sent a message to Shanann. Headed out to the track, boo. I will text you when I get there. The smiley face. With no mention of this in his previous messages to Shanann, Watts likely provided a concocted ruse regarding his plans to visit the Speedway via an earlier phone call. I said I don't know who's writing these comments in here, but 1818 hours to 2039 hours. Using his phone, Watts filmed assorted clips of dragsters at Bandamere. Metadata, I recognize the Speedway images, and so then he's got these. And it says, throughout this time frame, Watts searched Google on topics like top fuel dragster burnout and top fuel dragster goes airborne. July 22nd, 2018, 0752 hours. Watts called Shanann and held a 12-minute conversation. Shanann called him back afterwards and held an additional 14-minute conversation. 0900 hours, Watts searched Google for a Home Depot near me in Broomfield. $13.48 hours, Watts searched Google for Spanish dancing near me, and then red wine made in Argentina and the Cheesecake Factory. 15:25 hours, Shanann called Watts and held an 18-minute conversation. She called back afterwards and held an additional 21-minute conversation. July 23rd, 2018, 0540 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 2-minute conversation. 0825, Watts transferred an image of Kessinger into his secret calculator application. 1702, Watts called Nicole Utoft, Shanann's friend, briefly. 1736, Shanann called Watts and held a 19-minute conversation. 1802, Watts searched Google for clean eating restaurants near me and near Erie. Watts also searched 24 Karat Bistro and Lazy Dog Restaurant. July 24, 2018, Watts called Shanann and held a 5-minute conversation. 0812 hours, Watts transferred a nude image of Kessinger into his secret calculator application. 1317 hours, Kessinger searched for man I'm having an affair with says he will leave his wife. So let's think about this with this secret calculator image. These guys are seeing all of the nudie pics of NK. Something else. You know that they both thought that they had deleted everything. But nope, Chris with his secret calculator app. 15:49 hours, Shanann called Watts and held nearly a 10-minute conversation. 16:06 hours to 16:45 hours, Sandy Mom Rusick, Shanann's mother, called Watts 12 different times, connecting on occasion, and held roughly 30 minutes of conversations. Kate, what? okay, why is Mama Rue calling Christopher Watts more than Shanann? And Shanann and Christopher really don't have any connection at this point. I cannot imagine not talking to my spouse. It's as little as they are talking that just doesn't. I mean, she's talking to her friends a lot more. I just can't imagine. I mean, not if this is indicative of how their wonderfully perfect marriage was, they really didn't have deep intimacy or that kind of love that everybody thought they did. They talk about how a phone was like attached to her. Well, she wasn't talking to her husband. So July 24th, you've got Mama Rue from 1606 to 1645. And so that's like in a 40-minute span at 4 o'clock. In 40 minutes, she called 12 times. She called Christopher Watts 12 times in 40 minutes between the hours of 4 and 5 on July 24th. Why? And then let's see, a 30-minute conversation. That's really longer than Shanann's been able to hold him on any conversation. So at 15:49, so let's say, so 10 minutes to 4, Shanann called Watts and had a 10-minute conversation. 15 minutes later, Mama Rue is on the phone to him saying, what's the matter, Christopher? You can't even talk to Shanann at all. Here she is with the girls and everything. What are you doing out there? What are you doing? What are you doing out there? I want to know what you're doing. Are you having an affair? Are you having an affair with another woman? Is that what you're doing, Christopher? Because you're not talking to her at all. She's here with the girls, and your parents just tried to kill the girls. And, yeah, Miss Shanann said that there was razor blades all over the house. All over. Razor blades. And trying to give them peanuts. Those girls can't have peanuts. They've got the asthma and they've got the allergies. Those peanuts could have killed them. Christopher, what are you going to do about this? You need to get on the phone with your parents and talk to them about this, about what they did to my granddaughters. So anyway, 17:30 hours, Shanann asked Watts if he was alive. Why? Because Mama Rue was going to kill him through the phone? What? 17:30 hours, Shanann asked Watts if he was alive. Watts replied, "The light came on when I was leaving King Soopers last night. Got the tires aired back up. Spent a lot of time looking for anything in it. Nothing at all." Shanann responded, "You could have answered or texted back. Thought something happened. But you don't care about others' feelings. Or you're with another girl, or worse. No consideration of others." Uh-huh. Okay. So she's doing this back and forth. So her mom is with her, and like in one of the comments, one of you so wisely said, Shanann gaslighted her mother, and her mother gaslighted her, and the two of them, look at them. They sit there and they're just bitching and focusing on Watts. Look at this. So you want to know what Watts did in response? 17:28 hours. So at 5:28, Watts searched Google for Victoria's Secret at the Orchard Town Center. So here we go. Let's just go back to this afternoon from hell and what he had. Okay? Not saying that what he did is right or anything, but it's just he was sick of being treated like dog do. Okay? So he has this afternoon where basically he's got at 10 minutes to 4, Shanann called Watts and had a 10-minute conversation. 15 minutes after that, her mom calls Watts 12 different times over 40 minutes and has a 30-minute conversation with him. And then after that, Shanann asks Watts if he's alive, and then he tries to say he's having car trouble, right? And then she's like, yeah, right, well, you could have answered or texted back, thought something happened. But you don't care about others' feelings, or you're with another girl, or worse, no consideration of others. And then there you go. And then Watts searches Victoria's Secret. He's gonna go get his new lady some lingerie. Oh my god, he was done. He was so done with her. He was so done with the Rue antics, and they should have made arrangements for her to stay out there. He could have sold the house and done whatever, but they were done. This was done. The relationship was done. He's like, okay, yeah, call me up and call me and degrade me a little bit more. Why don't you? Why don't you go ahead and do that? And I'm going to go and buy some Victoria's Secret for my new lady. Not that I would be happy with my husband having an affair, not that, but I would not have treated my husband in the ways that this woman did. But anyway, he was done. The relationship was done. The marriage was over. So now she's all fired up because she's got Mama going with her, and the two of them are just going, and he's going for Victoria's Secret. So at 18:02, which is 6 o'clock at night, Shanann told Watts, "I realized during this trip what's missing in our relationship!" Exclamation mark. "It's only one-way emotions and feelings. I can't come back like this. I need you to meet me halfway. You don't consider others at all, nor think about others' feelings." Watts replied that he was sorry and that he loves her. Shanann responded, "I try to give you space, but while you're working and living the bachelor life, I'm carrying our third, fighting with our two kids daily and trying to work and make money. It's not hard texting love you and miss you. If you don't mean it, then I get it, but we need to talk. I kept looking at my phone all night and no response from you. Like, seriously, we didn't just start dating yesterday. We've been together 8 years and have 2.5 kids together." Yeah, they were done. They were done. They were done. And that was July 24th. It was over. She's like, "I need you to meet me halfway." I'm just like, "I just can't, ma'am." Because then it says on July 25th, 2018, Watts made an unanswered call to Shanann. 2 minutes later, Shanann called him back and had a nearly 11-minute conversation. Watts searched Google on the following topics: when to say I love you. And it says, when to say I love you for the first time in a new relationship. What do you feel when someone tells you they love you? How does it feel when someone says I love you? And then 16:35 hours, Shanann called Watts and held a 23-minute conversation. And I mean, and this speaks to that, Christopher Watts just really didn't know how to process emotions. And it says during that conversation, Kessinger called Watts and left a voicemail. Following an eerily disconcerting, childlike giggle, she told Watts, "Okay, this is weird, because who's making these comments here? Where are these comments coming from? Because I know this laugh that they're talking about. And so who's writing in this play-by-play here? Who's to say that it's eerily disconcerting? Who's to say this, blah, 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 blah. It is. But I'm telling you, that voice is weird. Because it says, during that conversation, Kessinger called Watts and left a voicemail. Following an eerily disconcerting, childlike giggle, she told Watts, "I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back, bye." I don't even think that I could make the laugh. It was like, let's see. Call me, bye. No, I can't even do it. It was just like, it was a weird. And so it's interesting that they put following an eerily disconcerting childlike giggle. And it didn't sound like anything that could have came out of her either. It was weird. I missed your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye. And it says immediately after ending this call with Shanann, Watts called Kessinger briefly. Watts searched Google for sand dunes weather, and Kessinger called Watts and held a 14-minute conversation. Kessinger called Watts and held a 3-minute conversation. The man's not big on phone calls. I can respect that. 0540 hours, Watts made an unanswered call to Shanann. She returned his call 3 minutes later, and they held a 5-minute conversation. Shanann called Watts and had a 6-minute conversation. Watts searched Google for GIT. What is GIT? I mean, the only person I talk to on the phone is my husband, just because, we're always, coming and going and got to have these things and that. And then if he's downstairs, rather than scream back and forth, pick up the phone. But even when my husband was in the middle of the ocean, in the western Pacific Ocean, right after 9/11, in the middle of the night, when we paid over $1 a minute to talk, we would talk for 3 hours. I mean, anytime. He'd miss a night of sleep to talk, and, I don't see how they couldn't with the kids and everything. And like I say, listen, the way that she puts this, not that, she's got both sets of grandparents, but, she got in the fight with the ones. But I mean, this is how she's saying, this is so weird. Because if you just go in the whole thing, and you go, Shanann told Watts, I realized during this trip what's missing in our relationship. It's only one-way emotions and feelings. I can't come back like this. I need you to meet me halfway. You don't consider others at all, nor think about others' feelings. I try to give you space, but while you're working and living the bachelor life, I'm carrying our third and fighting with our 2 kids daily and trying to work and make money. It's not hard texting love you and miss you. If you don't mean it, then I get it, but we need to talk. I keep looking at my phone all night and no response from you. Like, seriously. We didn't just start dating yesterday. We've been together 8 years and have 2.5 kids together. And that's just a weird thing to say. So Watts search Google for GIT. I wonder what that is. And then it says, Watts called this number and held a 4-minute conversation. I called the number and confirmed it connects with Chase Bank. Huh. Then it says, as he off to do, Watts accessed myprepaidcenter.com. I visited this website, which services universal prepaid Visa cards. The site promotes a 5% cashback incentive when used at preferred merchants. Shanann called Watts and held an 18-minute conversation. Oh, that's a big one. Simultaneous to that call, Watts transferred a nude selfie of Kessinger into his secret calculator application. Oh, man. And yeah, people only, saw this part and they didn't even consider that, Shanann was, doing the other things, and they saw this and they hear these things. They're just looking at him like, you dirty, nasty dog. Because here I'm going, wow, that's an 18-minute conversation. That's the longest one. Yeah, because he probably wasn't paying attention for half of it while he's looking at the nude picture of his mistress and putting it in another thing, and he's just sitting there going, and she's like, you're never gonna be anything, and no one's gonna want you, and here I am fighting with the girls, and the girls are just being awful, and I'm pregnant, and you wanted another one, and here this pregnancy, and he's just like, 17:01 hours. Immediately afterwards, Watts called Vivint briefly. At 17:16 hours, Watts called Vivint a second time and held a 25-minute conversation. Well, 25-minute conversation with Vivint. There you go. Watts called Shanann an additional time at 1839, holding a nearly 5-minute conversation. 1913, Watts searched Google for a lazy dog in Erie. 2000 hours, Watts visited myprepaidcenter.com. July 27, 2018, at 16:44 hours, Shanann called Watts and held an 11-minute conversation. Watts searched Google for prices on wine bottle openers. July 28, 2018, Watts and Kessinger spent the night at the Great Sand Dunes. Watts called 719-256-4315 briefly, and it said, I confirmed the number lists to the Valley View Hot Springs at the Orient Land Trust in the San Luis Valley. Their website boasts camping and lodging just north of the Great Sand Dunes National Park. 11:34 hours, Watts searched the internet for Rio Grande National Forest, Zapata Falls campground located 7 miles of the Great Sand Dunes. He made a brief call to the campground moments later. Watts took this photograph. It's of them in a tent. Metadata confirms the image was taken at the Zapata Falls campground. In addition, he shot a brief video of the same scene. The song playing in the background is Forever Girl by a Jan Langston Shazam. The lyrics tend towards a ballad. Forever Girl, huh? And at 13:44, Shanann made an unanswered call to Watts. He made 2 attempts to call her back roughly 10 minutes later. Oh my god, he's out camping in the sand dunes, acting like he's going to work and everything. Oh my, I don't know. He was bold. He was bold because she could have had the fuff go and follow him somewhere and then club him, you know. He made 2 attempts to call her back roughly 10 minutes later. And it said, Watts, okay, so blah, blah, blah. Among these, there is a video of Kessinger speaking into the camera. Oh, I remember this one. Here it goes. She's like, thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad you're having a blast. Yeah, I remember that one. She had the weird scarf on. And then it says July 29, 2018, Watts continued taking photographs of landscape near the Great Sand Dunes. Watts told Shanann, finish the hike, packing up and heading home. Oh, I see. He told her that he was on a hike. Then Watts transferred images of Kessinger to include a full nude selfie to his secret calculator application. And then it says Shanann made 4 unanswered calls to Watts. Watts called Shanann and held a brief 2-minute conversation at 14:25. Throughout the day, coworkers exchanged group messages regarding scheduling for the following workday. Watts was uncharacteristically unresponsive. At 18:20 hours, Watts finally replied, copy, sorry, been out of the house all day. 17:14 hours, Troy McCoy asked Watts if he was taking the following day off. Watts eventually responded, I'm working tomorrow. 17:30 hours, Shanann made 2 more unanswered calls to Watts. 17:49 hours, having not heard from Watts, Shanann asked, I'm assuming you're safe considering it's been 3.5 hours. Watts replied, there was a car fire in the Renaissance Festival traffic in Colorado Springs. Just got our car headed home. Ooh, that's close to flipping out, saying just got our car headed home. 19:24, Watts answered Shanann's call and held a 14-minute conversation. 19:39 hours, immediately afterwards, Shanann told Watts, sorry you're so tired, but I haven't talked to you in 48 hours, and I had a hard weekend. Glad I have you to talk to. Continuing the sarcasm, she added, if you care. So in other words, sorry you're so tired, but I haven't talked to you in 48 hours, and I had a hard weekend. Glad I have you to talk to, if you care. And he's like, he'd been boning you-know-who in the sand dunes and taking nudies of her. And So he replies, I'm sorry you had a hard weekend, Boo. I will make it up to you, I promise. I'm sorry I'm out of it tonight, Shannon retorted. It would have been nice for my husband to show interest in how the girls and I are, and the baby. I'm done with begging for you to talk. See you Tuesday, she added. You're out of it from playing. Ooh. Watts visited myprepaidcenter.com. Watts called Shanann and had nearly a 30-minute conversation on July 30th, 0811 hours. Shanann sent Watts an insurance identification card issued by USAA Policy for their 2016 Lexus RX. The effective dates are August 15th, 2018 through February 15th, 2019. Oh my god. Wait till the next one. Hold on. This is ridiculous. Hold on, let me see here. Just a second, because why did she send him the insurance card? Huh. 019 hours. Shanann sent Watts 3 images of swelling to the right ankle of one of their daughters. Her face was not captured. Watts commented, It looks like her ankle is dislocated in that one picture. Shanann agreed and said she may need special shoes. What kind of weirdos are these? Is that then when that heartbreaking scene of Bella not being able to bounce on the trampoline because they were telling her that something's wrong with her? Well, kids know what they can do. Let them move to where they can move. And movement is medicine, especially for kids. And where do you get needing special shoes and everything? I'm like, you know, there are reasons why, several of us in the community say Bella Blanchard, because normal childhood things and normal childhood bumps and bruises and viruses and everything in Shanann's world were catastrophic and worst case scenario and all this. Needing special shoes. Why would she need orthotics? And why is he saying that it says, what? Did she twist her ankle? What is going on? Because I remember they were starting, oh yeah, she doesn't walk right now. Well, did you take her to the doctor? Did you get any physical therapy? Did you see what's going on? Oh no, but you want to frame it all out that it's all this. Mm-hmm. Maximum attention, when there's nothing wrong. Dislocated. I mean, that's Christopher Watts saying, so I mean, his lack of intelligence doesn't pair well with her histrionics. She may need special shoes. Two of them, man, on that. Oh, anyway. All right, 1644 hours. Kessinger called Watts and left a voicemail. Intermixed with her creepy giggles, she asked Watts to call her back. Who is writing this, and how do they have these opinions? And then how do they expect this whole thing to go through in a trial? Because it would have been like, okay, who wrote this, and how do you constitute a creepy giggle? But they are creepy giggles, but it's weird that he put that, because it's like, but it's weird, like weird. Text me back, Christopher. And then it says Watts called Vivint and held a 10-minute conversation. 1739 and 1749 hours, Shanann asked Watts what they said. Although his call with Vivint ended nearly 30 minutes later, Watts responded he is still on the phone, resetting settings and sensitivity. Should be good now. I will monitor it. Because I wondered why that would be, why they had the sensor not working in their garage. It's a relatively new home. He's I'm a mechanic, pretty handy around the house, and it seems like that. So I was wondering why that wasn't working, but I guess it just is one of those problem things, right? 1831 hours, so 6:31. Watts searched Google for songs by a reggae band named Through the Roots. Watts then searched lyrics to their song Down to Earth. Researching the song revealed lyrics that included, "When I'm around you, I can feel peace. If I'm ever cold, I can count on you to heat me up with your presence. And at the lowest level, you can make me feel like I'm sky high." Other lyrics are quoted by Watts in a card he wrote to Kissinger on this date. Watts searched Google for a country singer named Kanan Smith and his song Love You Like That. Researching the song reveals lyrics like, "When I'm with you, I can see down the road, girl, not just the gravel one we're traveling on, girl, and I'm betting that it's gonna be a wild ride, but I promise that I'm gonna be there by your side. I think we got another memory in the making." Watts searched Google for love letters. Watts sent a message to Shanann, "Letting Dieter out and going to bed, boo. Love you." Shanann called him minutes later and they spoke briefly. This is July 31st. Watts flew to North Carolina. Okay, so they have the boarding pass photo, blah, 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 blah. So Watts is coming down to North Carolina 1 week after Mama Roo and her prodigy reamed him. So let's see here. July 31. Watts to NC. And his little run with Nicole Kessinger was about to end. Okay. Watts took a photograph of parking signs at Denver Airport and sent messages, presumably to Shanann, said "at airport." Watts began transferring a massive assorted images to Kessinger and their trip to the Great Sand Dunes to his secret calculator application. Wow. He was just sneaky. In addition, Watts transferred 2 videos from that trip to his secret calculator application. Both videos were shot by Watts as Kessinger surfed down a sand dune. Watts made comments like, "So damn sexy." I remember those. Her hair pulled back is really creepy. She's got a really far back hairline. I don't know. She's just like a bland version of Shanann in a way. I don't know. In the way that she looks, but not in her personality. I don't know. I mean, the both combined, I don't know. Watts told Shanann 0446 hours on the plane, boo. On the plane, love you, boo. Shanann called him immediately and held a 2-minute conversation. 0450 hours. Immediately afterwards, Shanann told Watts, You never ever listen to me," she asked. "How much a day?" Watts sent her the photograph of the parking signs and advised $16. Shanann asked which lot, and Watts said the East Economy lot. Shanann replied, $130? We can't spend at the beach." Shanann asked Watts to text her when he lands in Atlanta. $130 we can't spend at the beach. "Oh yeah, but well, you've been hoarding $25,000 downstairs, you. You never listen to me. You never ever listen to me." And then he's got this woman over there going, "Call me back." Watts deleted Kessinger's APC health safety environment contact from his phone. Shanann gave Watts instructions on how to schedule a ride from both Lyft and Uber. Well, she didn't think he could figure it out when he'd just been having a whole affair. Then it says Watts received a calendar alert. Flight WN656 from Denver to Atlanta. And it says during this data extraction, Agent Ford programmed the phone to provide timestamps using UTC 6 or Mountain Standard Time. I will continue to use those timestamps and refrain from adjusting before Eastern Standard Time. This applies to timestamps' phone and Shanann's phone as well. Watts told Shanann he had landed in Atlanta. Watts advised his connecting flight departs. I want to just say something here because, she's complaining about him and everything, and then he's like just showing her, like where he's parking and everything. She's like, you never ever listen to me. Gosh, we can't spend at the beach right while he's getting ready to go on an airplane, and you just never know what's going to happen with air travel. If she loved him and wanted him so much, why wasn't it like, oh gosh, the girls and I, we can't wait till you get here, safe flight, babe. He's the one making the frickin' money. If he decides that he wants to park there, that's what it is. Instead of $130 we can't spend at the beach. Oh, but you're making all this money, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Watts received a calendar alert, flight to Raleigh, blah, 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 and flight, blah, blah, blah. Watts told Shanann he had landed in Atlanta. Watts advised his connecting flight departs at 10:45. Watts told Shanann that he had just landed in Raleigh. Shanann asked him to let her know when you're coming down the escalator so I can record the girls. And Watts replied, because we want it to be picture perfect, right? So she yells at him and everything, and then this is what she says. He says, when you're coming down let me know when you're coming down the escalator so I can record the girls. And Watts replies, okay, boo. Shanann asked Chris, can you set an alarm for 5 and wake me, please? At 21:49 hours. And Watts replied, yep, I got it, love you. Shanann reciprocated. August 1, 2018, 18:51 hours. Watts took assorted photographs of his children on carnival rides at the Pavilion Park in Myrtle Beach, North Carolina. Took those in with the nudes, I assume. And then it says here, a video and photographs were taken of the children playing on trampolines at the Pavilion Park. That is when she wouldn't let Bella jump. It was so freaking mean. It's like, Cece's just jumping and having a great time, and Bella stands up to jump too. And Shanann must have given Bella a look because she sat back down, cowered, and just tried to be as little as she could, and looking up and under her eyes, at her mom. And Shanann's like saying, no, she cannot jump. No, she cannot. No. And then Cece's just jumping all over, and then Bella's like, she's like, oh, okay, I can watch Cece play and encourage Cece playing and tease and scare her like somebody would like, a cat or something, going by and just teasing a cat. And then Shanann's like, oh, good scaring Cece. That's good. Good scaring Cece. Good scaring Cece. Like, what? Just like so bizarre. Like I say, let Bella jump. If she can't, you'll know. And then, with whatever movement was problematic, you just mention to your pediatrician and they can recommend some physical therapy or see what's going on, but it doesn't need to just be like, oh, her ankles are deformed. She may need special shoes. Oh, like, come on. Then it says Watts transferred this image to a secret calculator application. And I don't know what it is. And it says here, in who's ever making this commentary, it says, I'm certain Watts communicated for more with Kessinger than is reflected in his phone data, perhaps facilitated through the secret calculator application. It became apparent he was receiving assorted nude images of Kessinger that she was taking by herself and sending to Watts, which he then stashed in that application to prevent Shanann from ever seeing them. Yeah, I wouldn't have been hiding things like that from that woman. And it says Watts transferred images of Kessinger to his secret calculator at 22:40 hours while he's in there. So while he's Well, he's in North Carolina. This is probably when she's like texting all of her friends about what an ass he is, and he didn't grab her ass and everything. And well, look at how it was when they're at the airport. She's mad at him for this, mad at him for that. Says, "Let me know when you're coming down so I can film the girls." And then she's like yells at him because she didn't he didn't grab her ass. Well, his instruction was to come down the escalator, let her know so she can film the girls. So then I'm sure that can go on the thing on the Facebook to make it look like they have the perfect family. But in truth, it's just miserable, broken, toxic, over, done. And then August 4th, 2018 at 00:45 hours, so 45 minutes after midnight. For over 2 hours, Kessinger searched Google for wedding dresses. On that same night at 3:36, in a lengthy message, Shanann told Watts, "Truth came out last night. I didn't create no dagger between you and your dad. That was done by your mom and your dad, and I won't change a thing. My daughter's life was way more important, and you better believe I wanted to say a whole lot more than I did, but I was being the bigger person and protecting Bella. I didn't tell your dad not to come to the party. I didn't tell him not to text or call your daughter on her birthday. I didn't tell him to start acting like he only has 2 grandkids instead of 4. I didn't block your family on Facebook. He did. Myself and your kids have nothing to say to them. They do. They owe your kids their life. They owe your kids their life? Your parents' home isn't a safe zone. Your mom isn't safe! Exclamation point. You can let them tell you what you want, but I didn't tell anyone to stop loving your kids or stop acting like it. He did that, not me." God. And it goes on. Here you go. "You can believe I created this dagger, but I didn't do that. I stood up for our kids and I advocated and protected our children. I don't ever want to hear I'm sorry I killed your kid because I was stupid. That would kill me. My world, and I have to protect them from the evil of the world. I shouldn't have to protect them from evil family. Our kids deserve the same love and attention the others get, nothing less. I'm not accepting I'm sorry from your mom because she doesn't mean it, and she knew what she was doing. I made it very clear not to eat it around Celeste because she doesn't understand. Way before that happened." Oh, hold on. Look at this. Look at this, because this is part of Nutgate. This is a huge part of Nutgate. This sentence right here. If we take out this one sentence, it says a lot, because it says, and this is all run on because she wants to write like Mama Roo, but it says here, I made it very clear not to eat it around Celeste because she doesn't understand, way before that happened. So see, she must have seen something or whatever and said, don't eat that around Celeste. And then they were like, what the, we're having ice cream. Twat. Went and ate it, and then, oh, she had to do this. So they tested her. This is this massive manifesto of her. So she was just waiting for Christopher to get there after her and her mommies, were ready, and they were gonna just lament him, and they did. And I need a 2-minute bathroom break. Just a second, because this one is gonna need some more energy than I have. So just a second. I gotta grab a Pepsi and a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back. Come on, Mama. waiting. Okay, I had no idea there was going to be this manifesto. So, like I say, it's like they just waited and waited. And by they, I mean Mama Ru and her. So they were just milling about, waiting for him to get there in person. And then she just went off. And this, oh my gosh, this I was not expecting to stumble upon. So this is so at 3:36 in the morning, in a lengthy message, Shanann told Watts. Okay, I want to just start it all over because this is just I wasn't expecting it. Here we go. So it says, "Come here, good boy." It says, "Truth came out last night. I didn't create no dagger between you and your dad. That was done by your mom and your dad, and I won't change a thing. My daughter's life is way more important, and you better believe I wanted to say a whole lot more than I did, but I was being the bigger person and protecting Bella. I didn't tell your dad not to come to the party. I didn't tell him not to text or call your daughter on her birthday. I didn't tell him to start acting like he only has 2 grandkids instead of 4. I didn't block your family on Facebook. He did. Myself and your kids have nothing to say to them. They do. They owe your kids their life. Your parents' home isn't a safe zone. Your mom isn't safe. You can let them tell you what you want, but I didn't tell anyone to stop loving your kids, so stop acting like it. He did that, not me. You can believe I created this dagger, but I didn't do that. I stood up for our kids. I advocated and protected our children. I don't ever want to hear, I'm sorry I killed your kid because I was stupid. That would kill me. These kids are my world, and I have to protect them from the evil of the world. I shouldn't have to protect them from an evil family. Our kids deserve the same love and attention the other kids get, nothing less. I'm not accepting I'm sorry from your mom because she doesn't mean it, and I knew what she was doing. I made it very clear not to eat it around Celeste because she doesn't understand. Way before that even happened. She's evil and willing to risk your daughter's life just to get under my skin. You and your dad are no different if you're okay with her behavior. There's nothing wrong with me, and I'm not crazy. I just love my kids way too much." Hold on. Boo boo. No, 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 no. Come here. Come here. Hold on. We gotta do a boo boo. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold, please. Manifesto. I got a boo boo trying to go all over the keyboard, and when he does that, he locks everything up. So he's got to see what Mama's so excited about. Mm-hmm. Yes, when he decides I can't work anymore, he steps all over everything and jams it up, and so. Gonna be good for a minute? Only got we got 55 pages left, Blue. Okay? You be a good boy? So, like I say, this manifesto. Can you imagine this message coming through? Now, keep in mind, now, this isn't when he was out of town. He comes into town, and then she's texting him this, and then she's texting her friends, Chris is acting weird. He's not talking to me. He's on the other couch avoiding me. I'm trying. with him. I took a shower. That means, and he knows what that means. I guarantee she wasn't forwarding this manifesto to her friends. Now, was she? I mean, so anyway, this dagger stuff. And she just focuses on Cindy. And it says, "From the day I left, you never said I missed you before I said it. Something changed when I left. You may be happier alone, and that's fine. You can be alone. This pregnancy, you have failed to acknowledge it or to acknowledge how I'm feeling. The first trimester is the scariest and most dangerous, yet we can lose this baby at any point till delivery. I'm not going to be treated this way for having the balls to protect our family and kids. I should get a gold fucking medal for handling it the way I did, because I had a lot of choice words I wanted to say to her and your dad for his stupidity. No one stands up to your mom and dad for that. He's just as guilty by not doing anything. I have nothing to do with him, so stop sharing memories of his grandkids. What does that have to do with me? They are fucking with our kids' feelings, and I'm not okay with that. I am their mother, and I will protect them. I have enough to worry about with the world out there. I'm not going to worry about family. I will just remove it." And then she added, "I also don't control what you do. If you want to go hang out with your parents today, by all means do so, but without us. Don't put it on me as to why you can't go. You are your own person." And then Watts replied to Shanann for the first time, "These kids mean the world to me and always will. Yes, my mom truly screwed up in a huge way, more than a huge way. I don't know what I would have done if something happened to Cece. Those kiddos are the light of my life, and seeing their sweet, incredible smiles and playfulness makes me smile every day. I'm sorry for the way I've been acting. It's just I've been in my head and I haven't been right at all." Shanann responded with 2 messages to Watts. "Yes, that I created this dagger between you and your dad, and that wasn't me. That was them. I protected our daughter from their stupidity. They created that, and you belong with them thinking otherwise. I didn't tell your dad to remove himself from the kids' life. I did and do not deserve to be treated the way that you have. I defended our daughter." Watts replies to Shanann, "Yes, you protected our daughter, and I thank you for that 1,000,000 times 1,000,000. I don't think they're innocent of any of this. They do want to be in the kids' life, and I'm not sure they even know how to right now. They should have swallowed whatever they needed to and came to Cece's birthday party and called her, and shouldn't have blocked us all on social media contact with them. I don't care what they do with us, just as long as they love and respect the kids. I'm not used to having a relationship with my I'm not used to not having a relationship with my dad. I should have just called him before it got to this point where it got in my head. I didn't, and that's my fault." At 8:03, Shanann responded, like I say, again, they're obviously in the same room or whatever, texting these vile things, because he's in North Carolina, right? So what are they doing? Texting, their thumbs are going all fast, and they're glaring at each other over the phone from separate couches? Like, what? What? So because it says, you know, Shanann responded, "Why should you beg them to be in their life? They pick up a phone and apologize for starters. They show up to her birthday, especially since we're an hour away. They did this. They make the effort. You blame me for this so-called dagger between you and him? Fuck that. You are just like them. Believe me when he tells you and move back home where you were supposed..." Okay, what? This is, she writes about as good as her mom. And so let me try this one more time. Shanann responded, "Why should you beg them to be in their life? They pick up phone and apologize for starters. They show up to her birthday, especially since we were an hour away. They did this. They make the effort. You blame me for this so-called dagger between you and him? Fuck that. You are just like them. Believe what he tells you and move back home where you weren't appreciated when I met you. No one ever protected you from your mom, and someone should have before me. I'm done being the bad guy in all this, especially when I had more balls to stand up for you a long time ago with them. My bad for thinking you deserved better. Not my kids are in the pic and I'm done. Continuing this conversation, Shanann told Watts, because that was at 0803 and then 11:53 hours. It says, continuing this conversation, Shanann told Watts, well, it's on my mind. If I'm in the wrong, that's one thing, but I'm not here, and you not standing up for us and the girls is not cool. You just make it so that they feel like they did no wrong and brush it under the rug. I will never trust your parents alone with our kids, ever. This is the week we started dating 8 years ago. They ruin everything special. I won't forgive you or them for that. I'm tired of it. I am the one who takes care of you, not them. You make me feel like complete shit last several weeks, especially this week, and I'm not okay with it, and I won't change my ways when it comes to our kids. And I've always defended you, always. And then she added, she keeps adding, oh my God. I'm not asking you to choose who to be with. I shouldn't have to ask you to choose right from wrong. You are not happy, then you know where to go. Worst summer ever. Okay? Then during this time, 2 hours later, Kessinger searched Google for Watts's and Shanann's Facebook accounts. 1504 to 1703, video and photographs were taken of the girls back on the trampolines at the pavilion parks. This is crazy. So they're all together and they're having this cell phone war. So what? She like pecks it all out and then looks at him. Then he looks down and then she's like, and then she's like messaging all her friends, Chris is being weird. Chris won't talk to me. Chris won't grab my ass. And then he's just shoving more and more nudies of NK into his secret calculator going, I mean, Okay, August 5th, 2018. 16 hours. Shanann asked Watts, are you wanting to go see just Mama tomorrow or family too? Watts replied, I was hoping both. If that's not okay, too. I wanted to see Mama in the morning if possible. You wanted the girls to see her too, right? Shanann responded, thrice. If both, then that's fine, but alone. If just Mama will go. They saw her twice and they can go again, but I'm standing strong with your family. You can use the truck and see both, but I just need to know. I'm not going to be reason you don't see them. So if you do, just go. Like I say, she doesn't like typewrite, misses words, blah, blah, blah. And it's spelled M-A-W-M-A-W. So I think that's grandma, but I don't know. Because he had that really cute grandma that came to the wedding. 15:28 says, 15:28 hours. Watts replies, I know they'd love to see Mama one more time. I bet Mama would love to see them too since she remembers them. I don't want to leave the girls alone without a car here, though, either. Should I have someone pick me up at the nursing home so the girls can still see Mama? In 2 messages, Shanann responded, I'm not going to be where there's a chance we'll run into your family. I'm not kidding, Christopher. I'm having a bad experience these last few days with my pregnancy, and I'm spotting. I'm not dealing with it. Have your parents pick you up when they go down tonight, and then do what you need to do. Watts concluded, I want kids to see Mama. I'll make sure there's 0 chance anyone will see them. Shanann sent Watts a screenshot of a quote by an Isaac Cuburano. Husbands, stand up for your wife and protect her from the attacks that come from the people close to you. Let your family and friends know that when it comes to your wife and your marriage, there's a line they cannot cross. If you have to take sides, then always take your wife's side. From the day you said I do to your wife, from the day you said I do, your wife displaces your parents, friends, and siblings. Apart from God, your wife now occupies and assumes the privileged first place of honor in your life. Oftentimes, it requires that you lovingly stand up for your wife in front of your parents, especially our mother. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no mother, father, brother, sister, friend, or boss separate. Okay? Oh, this is crazy making. This is crazy making behavior. Okay, hold on. I need to make some hot chocolate because this is this is deeper than I thought it was going to be. I don't have any regular M&Ms. I have regular marshmallows. What the heck? Where are my pink marshmallows? Oh, I think they're. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Boo Boo, come with mom. Just a second, everybody. Just a second. Thank you for being a good Boo Boo. There, you're very busy. You're very busy little monkey. Okay, so yeah, that's what you guys heard. That teapot is really loud. That's what you guys heard a minute ago. And I was gonna make tea, and then I was like, oh, hot chocolate sounds good. I'm probably making you guys drink hot chocolate, huh? So she's not, like I say, she plays the victim to her friends. I was like, oh, Chris won't do this, Chris won't do that, Chris won't do this, Chris won't do that. And her friends are all like, oh no, oh no. And then she's like, she'll text like something like, oh, this, and it's relatively benign. She's like, should I text Chris this? And obviously they're like, oh, yes, that looks good. You don't see her, testing out this manifesto to her friends, do you? And I'm not justifying his affair. I mean, if my husband did this and I found, oh, but then again, it would not have been basically stealing the family's money, or not basically, but stealing the money that my husband works hard every day for, so there wouldn't have been that deceit too, not, I mean, this was just this was a powder keg of a relationship that should have ended a long time ago. A long time ago. Um, so she sends him these kinds of things, and this is the narcissistic triangulation that I explained in the very beginning when I was talking about Shanann Watts and how she does this as a narcissist. They pit people, so they don't feel strong enough in their own self to express their feelings. They need to get somebody else to gang up, and so they're strongest if they can gang up two against one. Shanann was taught this very early in life by her mother. Her mother would get her to gang up on her brother, to gang up on her father. Okay? Her father dealt with those emotions by drinking, by all accounts, and by not being home. Okay? So he checked out mentally, and he did what he had to because that's the way that people did in that generation, you check out mentally, you drink, it's a form of escapism. Well, then when Shanann started hanging out with her dad, then it was her and her dad against her mom. And her mom got in the fight, and she left the house and didn't come back, until basically till when she met Christopher, and she needed some people on her side to start whatever else she did. And this is how. So then, as you see, she doesn't have a leg to stand on with what she's arguing. Christopher has already been dealing with her treating him like this all the time. And now she's went and treated his family like that, and he can't defend it because he's beaten down. So she goes and she has cultivated every single person that she has met in this MLM, where she is supposed to be their leader in the product and talking about the product and how great the product is and how is best to sell the product and market the product, okay? Rather than doing that, she's used every single person as a flying monkey. A flying monkey to a narcissist is the ultimate triangulation, because you use that person to confide in against somebody else. And in this case, it's her husband. So she's got Addie, she's got Christina, she's got, Nicole, and every other person that she can think of and that you see, that she's confiding in them, and she's like, oh, Christopher just hasn't been himself, he's not grabbing my ass, he's not doing this, I don't know, should I say something, guys, what should I do? And they're like, oh, Shanann, he loves you, and she's like, oh, I know, and she's getting that attention, because it's all about her, and it's all about her needs, and it's all about attention. Meanwhile, she's doing this to him. She's not forwarding all of this. She's not showing what she's truly being like. This is the first time that I've seen this all in this big old manifesto form. And as you can see, he doesn't fight back. He does not fight back. She goes off on all this stuff, and he does not fight back. He's just like, can I go visit my mama? My grandma? And she's like, I'm spotting Christopher. I can't be without a car and everything. And rather than him being like, okay, spotting, what do you mean? Well, why don't you go straight to the doctor? We can cancel everything. Let's go to the emergency room. Well, she doesn't want that. She's trained him to not even ask those questions because she likes to keep him down. If he questions this spotting and they go to the emergency room, she's not spotting. Who spots, continues raging, continues to go out of town, continues to fly. Not a woman who's in a high-risk pregnancy. She's not in a high-risk pregnancy at all. She's just raging. So anyway, gotta get some energy in me here. I was just gonna be boring, repetitious stuff. Now I got this. So here we are. So as she could not confide in her friends what she exactly told Christopher and exactly what's going on, she went and then she goes and tries to find articles. These narcissists will find memes, they'll find articles and whatnot that are little jabs, but then it continues that 2-in-1 dynamic, that triangulation. A lot of times when people are down to nothing, they will use religion and they'll say, well, Jesus said this, and I know that Jesus said this, and Jesus is on my side, and Jesus would say this to you. And it's like, no, don't speak for Jesus. You know what I mean? They'll pervert religion. They'll pervert anything to continue the 2-on-1. So what narcissists do. So obviously when this paragraph didn't work, she tried that book. And that was a big step that Christopher just threw it in the garbage. But we don't know what else he did that night. So, 24 hours. 2 hours later, Shanann wrote, I don't know how you fell out of love with me in 5.5 weeks. Or if this has been going on for a long time. But you don't plan another baby if you're not in love. Kids don't deserve a broken family. I left you. You couldn't take your hands off me. You show up and I have to practically ask for a kiss at airport. In airport. Shanann added, being away from you, it's not the help I missed because I handle that. It was exhausting. But with school, that's not hard. I missed the smell of you, you touching me while I'm cooking, you touching me in bed, you touching me, period. I missed holding you and snuggling with you. I missed eating with you, watching TV with you. I missed staring at you. I missed making love with you. I missed everything about you. I couldn't wait to touch you, hold you, kiss you, make love to you, smell you, laugh with you. I couldn't wait to celebrate 8 years with you. If you don't love me, don't want to work this out, not happy anymore, and only staying because of kids, I need you to tell me. Shanann asked Watts. 26 minutes later. Would you stay with me if we didn't have kids? 9 minutes later, Shanann asked Watts. I just don't get it. You don't fall out of love in 5 weeks. Minutes later, she pondered. How can you sleep? Our marriage is crumbling in front of us and you can sleep? Because apparently he wasn't answering her. He just went to sleep. That's not good, folks. That's not good. Should tear his ass up. So then, he wakes up. It's 06:13 in the morning, and he Googles for the distance from the moon to the Earth. She's raging and raging and raging these things while he's sleeping. And he sleeps through the night and then wakes up and wonders, how far is the moon from the Earth? 0620 hours, proving messages have been deleted from Watt's phone. Shanann noted in several messages, your only response last night was, I don't want to lose the kids. You used me just to have a boy. Only reason you wanted another kid. I can't handle this and you're okay with it. Why didn't you just tell me you were done? Why get me pregnant? Oh my God. You're a woman old enough that supposedly couldn't have kids, and we're so excited to be able to miraculously conceive, and then you do things like this and say things like this. You're a weirdo. But anyway, let's see here. Why get me pregnant? 2 minutes later, Watts replied, I'm not just staying because of the kids. They are my light, and that will not change. I didn't fall out of love in 5 weeks. That's impossible. I didn't want to erase 8 years just like that. I'm not sure what's in my head. I don't know if it's my parents, the third pregnancy, or I'm just scared or what. I didn't use you. And it says, in Shanann's phone, the conversation continued. And it says, that's what you said last night. You can't even say why you're married to me. That's a stab in the heart. You didn't say you didn't want to lose us. You said you didn't want to lose the kids. Watts responded, I don't want to lose anyone. Shanann responded, this has been the worst week of my life. We were supposed to celebrate love and family, but instead hate and whatever you call it. I'm not willing to watch something dangerous happen to one of our kids with your family for you to wake up. They will give you sorry excuses today. I don't know what to say. I don't want to come. So in other words, she's freaking out because he's going around his family. Shanann continued. And you don't see you or how you're treating me. 8 years of love and you're treating me horribly. I fell deeper in love with you this summer and you fell out. That's not love. Love falls deeper in love when apart, not out. You don't love me or you have a horrible way of showing it. You haven't fought for me this week. It's only the kids. Watts transferred an image of Kessinger into his secret calculator application. God. He's checked out. He's just thinking of, you know, NK. That's how he's coping with it. I mean, I'm recording. In the bedroom. Thank you so much. Good night. Love you. So then, Watts told Shanann that his parents did not want to drive him to her location. Watts told Shanann that his parents did not want to drive him to her location. Huh, that's weird. Why wouldn't I don't get that? I mean, they're not in town forever. Unless his parents were like, I don't want to be anywhere near that crazy bitch. Which could very well be. I had these toppers for the hot chocolate that they had at Christmas. These mug toppers to put on top of hot chocolate. And they have like broken candy cane on top and dark chocolate and marshmallow. And it's just particularly wonderful in this Muggo hot chocolate. I thought I'd share that with you. So, Watts told Shanann that his parents did not want to drive him to her location. Shanann asked if Watts wanted her to come pick him up, and Watts replied, "It's up to you. He's cool bringing me back first thing in the morning. Early." Oh, that doesn't make sense. To this, Shanann replied, "We fucking leave tomorrow. I need help." Shanann told Watts she was on her way to pick him up. Apparently, after some cajoling, Watts advised his father has agreed to drive him to her location presently. Okay, now it says, Watts took photographs of various images inside his parents' home, verified through metadata coordinates. They included this family portrait. Now, I'm going to take this picture because then you guys can see a very young Christopher Watts, like you can see the very young thing, and Christopher Watts looks exactly like Bella. Let me see here. Where is my phone in this? And it's kind of a hazy picture, but it will still do the job. Let me see here. Yeah. The resemblance between him and Bella is really strong. This is interesting because let me see here. Yeah, it looks exactly. Let me see if I can zoom in on. I'm gonna do this. I mean, so much like Bella. Papa Ronnie has the porn stash. Okay. Okay. Shanann told Watts, I was trying to get you to fucking hug me, make me feel safe. This is much deeper than lack of conversation. Make me feel like everything is going to be okay. And Watts replied, It will be okay. This will all get fixed. Shanann responded, No, I don't need words, damn it. You just told me you don't want this baby. Watts replied to this, I'm scared, okay? You wanted the truth, and I told you how I felt. Shanann replied, You hold me after that conversation? You hold me? If you want this to fucking last, you make me feel safe after that bomb. Don't you get it? Shanann added. How many times do I have to ask you to hold me? You hate me that much? Watts eventually replied, I don't hate you. I'll fix this later. It will be better, Shanann noted. You didn't answer me and added, I'm begging you to hold me and you still can't. Watts replied, I don't know where my head is at. I will fix it, though. Shanann wrote, This isn't the only thing. This doesn't get your head all screwed up. Something's changed in the last 5 weeks. Something that you won't say. Shanann continued. All of these asking for you to talk to me, you falling to sleep at 7 or 8, don't tell me it's me. It's not communication. You're not telling me something. Added to this message were assorted screenshots from Shanann's phone of previous text messages with Watts in which he offered excuses for not calling her. Most have been featured in this review. None were found in Watts's phone. Zero 5:17 hours, so 5:17 in the frickin' morning, Shanann told Addie Maloney. Chris told me last night he's scared to death about this third baby, and he's happy with just Bella and Celeste and doesn't want another baby. Addie comforted Shanann, telling her, Watts is just scared and everything will be fine again once the baby is born. Shanann replied, He's changed. I don't know who he is. Addie asked what she means, and Shanann replied, He hasn't touched me all week or kissed me or talked to me, except for when I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. He's been Later in their conversation, Shanann told Addie, I told him last night I don't feel safe with him after what he said about the baby, and if he loves me, he would hold me and tell me it'll be okay. Give me something. And he did nothing but go to bed. This is a huge thing, and I want to take a moment to say, with all joking aside about the dysfunction in this relationship, if you ever do not feel safe around somebody, that's a red flag that you should not ignore. No matter what did or didn't happen, or however we don't know what happened, 5 days later, Shanann and her baby and the girls were not alive. She had this feeling that she did not feel safe with him, and she stated it. Okay? Pregnant women, especially, are at so much of a greater risk of dying by domestic violence than any other thing while pregnant. Please, if you don't feel safe with somebody, please contact somebody. Contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. I know that Objection Overruled, who was on the live with me, did a really good video and has the numbers in a video, and I will try to forward that video to my community page as an addendum to this, because of the seriousness of this. Like I say, although I joke around because I think that the way that this all falls out and how she was so many different things to people, and how the two of them were just like two ships sailing in the night and nothing was true, it was all an image, lies upon lies. But the bottom line is, there was domestic violence here. There was emotional abuse, and that had been going on for a very long time, and that was from her to him. Now, whatever happened physically, we don't know. We don't know. But bottom line is, she said the words, "I don't feel safe with him," after what he said about the baby. And those words are very, very heavy, important. If you hear somebody say that, if you hear those words come out of your mouth, if you're thinking them in your head, do not ignore them and do not ever be alone with that person again. Period. You're sensing something, and there's a reason for that. I do believe that this right there, her saying that, um, has a lot to do with what happened, because she told her friends this, and they didn't say, contact domestic violence, don't go back with him, and they didn't. I mean, her mom said, don't go back with him, and she said, well, he has good insurance for the girls. Now, what nobody else knew, was how much of the lies and manipulation and everything else, all the other things that were going on that were about to erupt. This was Mount St. Helens just sitting there burgeoning under the surface. People were saying, this is gonna blow, this is gonna blow, get off of it, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. And people, oh no, I've got good insurance for the girls, so we'll be fine. Well, yeah. Maybe some of you guys aren't old enough to know about Mount St. Helens, but I do. At 16:26 hours, so 4:26. Shanann told Watts, something else is wrong that you're not saying, because of lack of communication does not cause you to be not present or touch me or love me. Besides, the lack of communication hasn't been with me in 6 weeks. This fucking sucks. I really don't want to leave here. 5:10. Watts received a calendar alert. Flight WN 1643 from RDU to DEN. And at 22:58, Watts' phone reconnected with Netgear 27 router. They were home. August 8th, Watts returned to work. 07:24 hours, Sarah Nudd, friend, asked Shanann if they were doing any better. Shanann replied, no, it's so bad and I don't know what to do. He told me he doesn't want this baby and he's happy with just Bella and Celeste. He thought he wanted another one. I'm so sick to my stomach. Tried to have sex with him last night just to see if that would help him, and he rejected me. Shanann said she hasn't cried this hard ever. Okay. This is difficult because she says she doesn't feel safe with him, but then she gets on the airplane with him, and then she's still yelling at him, and then she's trying to have sex with him, and he's rejecting her. It's very hard to understand what was a serious threat and what wasn't. And trying to tease out what is true and isn't true in this is not easy. So that was August 8th. And as many of us have said, if you're in a high-risk pregnancy at all, if you are spotting, would you want to have sex? She tried to have sex with him in North Carolina. He rejected her as well, right after she said that she had been spotting. No woman in her third pregnancy that she says is high risk and whatnot initiates sex. Well, spotting. She wasn't spotting. She was saying that to get other people to feel sorry for her and feel concerned for her and overlook what was really going on. Shanann added, he said he feels there's a lack of communication and it's not from me. I sent him 12 texts over the month begging him to talk to me. He fell asleep at 7 or 8 p.m. Shanann told Sarah, I tried talking to him after rejection last night and me crying for an hour on the couch. He slept. I kicked his sorry ass out of bed and I refused to sleep on the couch anymore this week. Told him this morning not to come home today if he can't tell me the damn truth on what the hell is wrong. Oh. So she kicked his sorry ass out of bed. What if people had heard this and heard of how aggressive she was towards him? Told him not to come home, and everybody wants to believe that this was this wonderfully happy family. Shanann continued, "We are supposed to go to ultrasound tonight, and he doesn't want the baby. He'd abort it if I said it was okay." Ooh. 0806 hours, Shanann told Sarah. "He said he's not having an affair." Sarah asked if Shanann is certain of this, and Shanann replied, "Honestly, no, but what else would make him do a complete 360? We couldn't get enough of each other before I left." Quite honestly, before she left, I think that he was getting turned on by NK, and things that he hadn't felt in a very long time, if ever, were happening, and he was ready to go. 0852 hours, Josh Rosenberg asked Watts if he was excited for the ultrasound. "Today's the day, right?" Watts replied. He just returned to work and added, "Yep, today's the day. I'm excited." Watts confirmed the ultrasound was at 1900 hours, so 7 o'clock p.m. 1511 hours, so 3:11 p.m. Watts made an unspecified modification to Shanann's contact information in his work phone. 1925. Kessinger searched Google on topics related to marrying your mistress. It's kind of cool the way that this did get kind of put together, where just a second, let's see, because then you can kind of see what Nicole's doing, what he's doing. You know, I kind of do like that part of whoever put this together with their opinions. Shanann told Utoft and Cassie Rosenberg. "He said we're not compatible anymore. He refused to hug me, said he thought another baby would fix his feelings, said he refused couples counseling." I don't think that he said another baby would fix things. I really don't. I think she got pregnant by surprise, and Shanann elaborated. "He said he had a lot of time to reflect on his feelings," Shanann added. "He said he's going to work it out, but she doesn't know how when he won't agree to counseling. Her friends offered support and suggestions to work this out." Josh begged Watts. "Bro, I'm waiting so patiently, LOL. Don't leave me hanging," Watts replied. "LOL, envelope is sealed until next weekend." Josh asked if they were going to hold a reveal, and Watts said yes. This was at 21:57 hours, so after it. Then it says, Shanann told Utoft and Cassie, "I will fight for full custody." Shanann said Watts told her he does not want to divorce right away. So here we have confirmation of they're separating, not a divorce right away, but because she says, I will fight for full custody. Shanann said Watts told her he does not want to divorce right away. Okay. So that's definitely leading, more to that separation. So Shanann told Utoft and Cassie, I will fight for full custody. Shanann said Watts told her he does not want a divorce right away. Shanann told the women, I can't afford 3 kids alone in Colorado. Shanann said their current home loan is in Chris's name. Her friends railed around Shanann. Shanann searched Google on topics like emotion-focused therapy, couples therapy. Watts took the day off from work and Shanann left for Arizona on August 9th. 02:54 hours. Shanann told Addie that Watts refuses to hold her and has told Shanann it's because he's not there, he can't. Okay, this is at 3 in the morning. This is at 2:54 in the morning. I don't understand how she is texting these people, and they're supposed to be focusing on how to sell Thrive at these things, but anyway. At 02:54 hours, Shanann told Addie that Watts refuses to hold her and has told Shanann it is because he's not there, he can't. Shanann told Addie, I canceled gender reveal. Nikki is going to tell me today. I need happy news right now. I said to him, how is this a few months? We were so intimate and what I thought in love when I left. He said he's had a lot of time to think. She doesn't make sense when she writes. Addie asked if Shanann has gone through Watts' phone, asking if he was having an affair. And Shanann replied, I did. He denied. No, I didn't look. He's deleting messages from his dad. I'm sure he's not that stupid. Addie noted, none of this makes sense. It's not Chris. Now, frequently throughout the day, Shanann searched the internet for couples counselors. She also accepted a prayer chain focused on their relationship. 0609. Shanann asked Watts, do you want to find out together with me tonight on baby's gender? His reply is not found in his phone, but Shanann soon commented on his answer, loved yes. And then at 0920 hours, it says a log entry appears for the secret calculator in Watts' phone. 10:06 hours, Shanann shared an ultrasound image of her unborn son with Sarah Nudd. Okay, so this is what they're saying. Okay. Now, this is not the ultrasound that I believe with HD ultrasound, this could be, you see the little hands. I mean, we're saying that maybe 14 weeks. I don't know. Oh, don't you hate it when your phone lectures you? It says clear your lens for a clearer picture. Shanann shared an ultrasound image of her unborn son with Sarah Nudd. I can't see any of the writing or anything on it. The other pictures that they were showing in different articles and whatnot were not corrected. Oh. Okay, so that's supposed to be baby sucking the thumb, maybe? Is that what's going on there? Looks like Linus. From the Peanuts Gallery. Let me see here. All right. And then this image was taken by Watts's phone, which he sent to Shanann. She replied, "Don't know what to think about this." Okay, now this is this weird photograph. And it says this image was taken by Chris's phone, which he sent to Shanann. Okay, there's been, my phone can't even figure it out. I was trying to square this up and go, what is this? Because there's this white sheet around the top of the baby doll image. It's the creepiest thing. And it says that, so when Watts was alone with the girls, they did this. This has always been like, oh, did Shanann do this to the dolls? Blah, 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 blah. Well, this says this image was taken by Watts' phone, and that's provable. This is coming from, how they've tracked the phone, and they've, talking about it. Just don't know what to think about this. Shanann sent the photograph to Sarah Nudd, the image of this letter she wrote to Watts. Oh, God. I cannot read this. Why are they doing this to me? Why can they not put... Why can they not, Yeah, I think that this letter... I don't know. Image of the letter she wrote to Watts. So I think it's a love letter. I think that other people have seen it. It's got to be somewhere else, but something I said to our kids. So I mean, and it's like if people just saw this letter, when they were looking at the house, and they didn't see the big manifesto, what she wrote, everything the week before. As it says here, Shanann expressed hopes Watts would respond with a letter of his own. And it says, Shanann told Sarah that Watts has agreed to go away next weekend, just us. Shanann said a friend has agreed to watch the kids. Well, not really. She was still asking around. And then Shanann asked Watts, why did you cancel your Facebook account? He did not respond. Shanann asked Watts, can you be there Monday to drop Bella off with me to her first day of kindergarten? Watts replied, I can make that happen. Shanann received a confirmation from Amazon that a book titled Hold Me Tight, 7 Conversations for a Lifetime of Love would be delivered on August 10th, 2018. Watts told Troy McCoy that he was taking tomorrow off and added, I will meet up with you for the fire stick sometime tomorrow if that's cool. McCoy said that was fine. And at 2017 hours, Shanann told Addie that she was talking with Chris presently, apparently texting simultaneously. Addie asked what the gender of their child is, and Shanann replied, if I tell you, you can't tell anyone. He, Watts, wants to announce it on Monday, August 13, 2018. Shanann added he is trying to be accommodating. He's talking and kind of being Chris, but he's very distant still. Okay, so as you see here, it was never publicly, on August 13th, 2018 is when they were going to announce that it was a boy, so it was never publicly known that it was a boy, if it honestly was a boy, or it wasn't just a thing that she was going to say. And then 2045, Watts logs into Instagram. Watts searched Google for prices on an Audi Q7. Shanann told Utoft and Cassie Chris wants to move to Brighton. Shanann announced their son will be named Nico Lee Watts. Shanann cautioned they were not going to tell anyone the name until Monday and to keep this a secret. Shanann told the women the conversation she had with Watts this evening. Has been the best talk yet. 27 hours. Sarah Nudd asked how the conversation with Watts went. Shanann replied, oh my God, much better. We talked. He told me he loved me back. Still cold, but not as cold. He even kissed me before going to sleep in the basement, which is second kiss since picking him up from airport. So he was sleeping in the basement. He even kissed me before going to sleep in basement, which is second kiss since picking him up from airport. Shanann added, I wanted to tell you gender, but you have to keep secret. He wants to wait till I'm back to tell everyone. So Monday. He agreed to counseling, Shanann said Watts. Agreed to read the book I ordered coming tomorrow and write me a letter expressing. We are going away next weekend. Just us. Watts transferred images of Kessinger, some semi-nude selfies, into his secret calculator application. Watts took the day off from work and Shanann left from Arizona. Okay, guys, I thought I was going to be able to do this, but we've got 45 pages left and my brain is just shot. I'm sorry. I'm gonna close it for now. I apologize. Thank you for listening and making headway. I found out some things I hadn't heard before, so thank you so much, and we'll do one more after this one. Thank you so much.